Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a woman full of potential but trapped in a cage of her own making? Have you ever watched a queen who doesn't even realize she's wearing a crown? There is nothing more tragic than a woman who doesn't recognize her own worth, a woman who allows the world to define her, break her, and silence her. And today, I want to talk about the 5 signs of a woman who is living in ignorance, who is being stupid, not because she lacks intelligence, but because she is choosing to forget her own power. Sign, she apologizes for existing. Have you ever seen a woman who constantly says, "I'm sorry for speaking, for dreaming, for taking up space"? She walks into a room and makes herself smaller, as if she is an inconvenience to the world. A woman who apologizes for existing is a woman who has forgotten that she is meant to be here. If you find yourself constantly saying sorry for things that don't require an apology, stop. You do not need permission to live. A woman who constantly apologizes for existing carries an invisible weight on her shoulders, a burden that she was never meant to bear. She walks into a room with hesitation, her steps uncertain, her presence muted. It is almost as if she believes that simply being here is an inconvenience to others. She lowers her voice in conversations, afraid that speaking too loudly might disturb someone. She shrinks herself in crowded places as if she is taking up too much space. She hesitates before sharing her thoughts, convinced that what she has to say is not important enough. This kind of existence is not just a habit, it is a mindset, a deeply ingrained belief that somehow she is less deserving, less valuable, less worthy. It starts early. Often in childhood, the little girl is told to be polite, to be agreeable, to never interrupt. She is taught that being quiet is a virtue, that being soft-spoken is desirable. She learns that if she expresses her true emotions, whether it is frustration, excitement, or even ambition, she may be seen as too much, too emotional, too difficult, and so she begins to suppress herself. She swallows her words. She dims her light. She chooses silence over self-expression. Every time she is corrected for being too loud, every time she is made to feel that her presence is unwelcome, she absorbs the message, "You are not important enough. You must not take up space. You must apologize for existing." As she grows, this habit of apologizing becomes second nature. She apologizes when someone else bumps into her. She apologizes when she needs help, afraid of being a burden. She apologizes when she asks a question, as if seeking knowledge is something to be ashamed of. She apologizes when she expresses an opinion, worried that her thoughts might not be valid. She even apologizes when she succeeds, downplaying her achievements, making herself seem smaller so that no one feels uncomfortable. She does not even realize how much of her power she is giving away with every unnecessary apology. When a woman constantly apologizes for existing, she unknowingly teaches others how to treat her. The world begins to mirror her own beliefs. If she believes she is not worthy, people will treat her as if she is not. If she believes she is an inconvenience, others will begin to see her that way. If she acts as though her voice does not matter, people will stop listening. It is a vicious cycle, one that keeps her trapped in a place where she is always questioning her worth, always seeking permission to simply be. She carries this into her relationships. In friendships, she is the one who always compromises, always gives more than she receives. She does not ask for what she truly wants because she does not want to seem demanding. She does not express when she is hurt because she does not want to be seen as difficult. In romantic relationships, she tolerates disrespect, excuses bad behavior, and stays in situations that drain her because she believes it is her responsibility to keep the peace. She has convinced herself that if she asks for too much, she will be abandoned. So she apologizes instead. She makes herself small. She hopes that if she is agreeable enough, quiet enough, selfless enough, she will finally be loved in the way she deserves. In her career, she hesitates to ask for a promotion, even when she knows she deserves it. She second-guesses herself in meetings, afraid of sounding unintelligent. She works twice as hard, but still downplays her contributions. She watches others take credit for her ideas and says nothing. She does not negotiate for better opportunities because she feels grateful for simply being included. She does not recognize that by constantly apologizing, she is placing herself at a disadvantage, allowing others to move ahead while she remains stuck in a place of hesitation and self-doubt. But the truth is, the world does not reward those who apologize for their existence. It rewards those who claim their space with confidence. It listens to those who speak with certainty. It respects those who do not seek permission to be themselves. A woman who apologizes for existing will always be overlooked. Not because she is not capable, not because she is not talented, but because she has unknowingly given the world permission to ignore her. This mindset of constant apology does not just affect her externally, it affects how she sees herself. Every time she apologizes unnecessarily, she reinforces the idea that she is not enough. She begins to believe that her needs, her desires, and her dreams are secondary to those of others. She convinces herself that playing small is the right thing to do, and in doing so, she robs herself of the life she was meant to live. She must realize that she is not a burden. She is not an inconvenience. She does not need to apologize for speaking her mind, for taking up space, for wanting more from life. She does not need to seek permission to exist fully, boldly, unapologetically. She is not here to shrink herself for the comfort of others. She is here to live, to grow, to express, to take up as much space as her dreams require. And the moment she understands this, everything changes. Sign 2. She seeks validation from others. A foolish woman waits for the world to tell her she is beautiful before she believes it. She needs applause before she feels worthy. She needs someone else's approval before she makes a decision. But listen to me. You are enough as you are. If you keep living for the approval of others, you will die without ever knowing yourself. A powerful woman does not ask, "Do they like me?" She asks, "Do I like me?" A woman who seeks validation from others lives in a prison without walls. She moves through life constantly looking over her shoulder, waiting for approval, for a sign that she is enough. She measures her worth through the eyes of others, needing their acceptance to feel whole. Every decision she makes is influenced by what people might think, by whether they will applaud or criticize her. She is like a puppet on invisible strings, controlled by the opinions of those who do not even understand her heart. It begins in the smallest of ways. As a child, she learns that praise is given when she follows the rules, when she pleases others, when she does what is expected. She learns that love feels conditional, tied to her performance, to how well she fits into the mold created for her. If she dares to be different, to think for herself, to choose a path outside of what is considered acceptable, she senses disapproval. The frowns, the silence, the subtle rejection, it all teaches her one thing. In order to be loved, she must be what others want her to be. As she grows, this belief becomes her reality. She learns to read faces, to anticipate reactions, to mold herself into whatever version of herself is most pleasing to the people around her. When she dresses, she wonders if others will approve. When she speaks, she edits her words so they will not be judged. When she shares an idea, she hesitates, unsure if it will be well received. Every action, every thought, every dream is filtered through the lens of external validation. She does not ask herself what she truly wants. She only asks what will make people like her. This need for validation follows her into her relationships. She believes that her worth is tied to how much others desire her, to how much they approve of her presence. If someone ignores her, she questions what she did wrong. If someone does not compliment her, she assumes she is not beautiful enough. If she is not constantly reassured, she feels insecure, lost, unseen. She gives and gives, hoping that her kindness, her sacrifice, her effort will earn her the love she craves. And when it doesn't, she does not question them. She questions herself. In friendship, she struggles to set boundaries because she fears rejection. She overextends herself, saying yes when she wants to say no, agreeing to things that drain her just to avoid disappointing others. She tolerates disrespect because she believes that conflict might mean losing people. She lets others dictate her value, believing that if they like her, she must be worthy, and if they do not, she must be lacking. She does not yet understand that her worth is not something that others have the power to decide. In her career, she hesitates to take risks unless she is certain that she will be praised. She avoids stepping into leadership roles because the thought of criticism paralyzes her. If she does something great, she needs someone else to recognize it before she believes in her own success. If she does not receive acknowledgement, she feels invisible, as if her efforts meant nothing. She does not see that her talent, her intelligence, her abilities do not depend on whether or not someone else claps for her. This need for external approval makes her easy to manipulate. She becomes a target for those who know how to exploit her insecurities. People sense her hunger for validation and they use it to control her. They withhold praise so she will try harder. They give her just enough attention to keep her attached. They make her feel that she must earn their love, that she must prove her worth over and over again. She does not see that this is not love, this is not respect. This is not the life she was meant to live. She loses herself in the process. She forgets what she truly enjoys, what makes her heart feel alive, what she would do if no one was watching. She stops taking risks because she is afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of what people will say. She suppresses her voice, her dreams, her truth, all because she believes that someone else's opinion of her is more important than her own. She does not realize that no matter how much she chases approval, it will never be enough. There will always be someone who disapproves. There will always be someone who criticizes. And if she bases her happiness on their acceptance, she will never truly be free. She does not need to seek permission to be herself. She does not need the world to tell her she is beautiful, successful, worthy. She does not need to be liked by everyone to know that she matters. The moment she stops searching for validation outside of herself, she begins to reclaim her power. The moment she realizes that her worth is not something that can be given or taken away, she becomes unstoppable. Sign 3. She stays in a place that destroys her. A stupid woman remains in places where she is disrespected, where she is unloved, where she is treated as if she is nothing. She stays in toxic relationships, in jobs that drain her, in friendships that belittle her, and she calls it loyalty. But loyalty should never come at the cost of your dignity. If a place, a person, or a situation is killing your soul, walk away. You are not a tree. You can move. A woman who stays in a place that destroys her is not weak. She is simply afraid. She convinces herself that enduring pain is a form of strength, that suffering in silence is an act of patience, that if she just holds on a little longer, things will change. She tells herself that leaving is too difficult, too risky, too uncertain. She looks at the walls that confine her, and instead of breaking free, she decorates them. She convinces herself that this cage is her home, even when it is suffocating her. She stays in a relationship that drains her because she believes love is supposed to be hard. She accepts disrespect, mistreatment, and emotional neglect, telling herself that no one is perfect. She makes excuses for the person who hurts her, convincing herself that their bad days are just temporary, that if she loves them enough, they will change. She ignores the voice inside her that whispers, "You deserve better." She quiets her own pain, choosing to believe in the illusion of what could be rather than accepting the reality of what is. She stays in friendships that no longer serve her, holding on to people who belittle her, who only come around when they need something, who do not celebrate her wins but secretly enjoy her failures. She tells herself that history matters, that loyalty is important, that starting over is too exhausting. She accepts one-sided relationships where she gives and gives but receives nothing in return. She does not yet understand that true friendship is not about how long you have known someone, it is about how they make you feel. She stays in a toxic work environment where she is undervalued and overworked, where her potential is ignored, where she is treated as if she is replaceable. She tells herself that at least she has a job, that complaining is ungrateful, that security is more important than happiness. She watches others move forward while she remains stuck, afraid to ask for more, afraid to seek new opportunities, afraid that she is not good enough to deserve better. She allows fear to chain her to a place that is slowly destroying her ambition, her creativity, her confidence. She stays in a mindset that holds her back, trapped by self-doubt, by limiting beliefs, by the voices in her head that tell her she is not capable, not smart enough, not strong enough. She listens to the words that were planted in her heart long ago, words that told her she should be quiet, that she should be grateful for whatever she gets, that she should not expect too much from life. She repeats these words to herself until they become her reality. She does not realize that the only thing keeping her in this place is the fear of stepping into the unknown. She tells herself that leaving is too complicated, that she is too old, too invested, too dependent, too tired. She imagines all the things that could go wrong if she chooses to walk away, and those fears keep her frozen in place. She believes that pain is normal, that discomfort is just a part of life, that happiness is something other people get to have. She does not see that every day she spends in a place that destroys her is a day she will never get back. She waits for a sign, for permission, for someone else to save her. She dreams of escape but does not take action. She convinces herself that she is staying because she is strong, because she is resilient, because she is being responsible. But deep down, she knows the truth. She knows that staying is not strength. Staying is fear. And the longer she waits, the harder it becomes to leave. Sign 4. She competes with other women. A woman who sees other women as threats, who spends her energy tearing them down instead of lifting herself up, she is only betraying herself. A strong woman does not compete. She inspires. She does not envy. She creates. The world does not need more women fighting each other. It needs women who stand together, who rise together. Your only competition should be the person you were yesterday. A woman who sees other women as competition has already lost a battle she was never meant to fight. She walks into a room and immediately scans for threats, comparing herself to every woman present, measuring her worth against theirs. She notices who is more attractive, who is more successful, who receives more attention. Instead of seeing possibility, she sees rivalry. Instead of feeling inspired, she feels insecure. She has been conditioned to believe that another woman's success somehow takes away from her own, that there is only so much beauty, so much power, so much space in the world, and if someone else has it, she cannot. She was taught this without even realizing it. As a little girl, she watched how society celebrated women who fit a particular standard, how they were praised for their beauty, their obedience, their ability to be pleasing. She saw how women who were bold, ambitious, or different were criticized. She learned that to be loved, she had to be chosen, and to be chosen, she had to be better than the rest. She grew up believing that her worth depended on how she compared to other women. She was never told that there was room for everyone, that another woman's greatness did not diminish her own. This belief follows her everywhere. In friendships, she struggles to fully trust other women because deep down, she fears they are competition. She feels uneasy when they achieve something before she does. Instead of celebrating their victories, she wonders why it was not her. Instead of feeling happy for them, she feels threatened. She does not understand that envy is not admiration. It is a sign that she does not believe in herself. She does not see that the women she secretly resents are only mirrors reflecting back the parts of herself she has not yet embraced. In relationships, she sees other women as threats instead of allies. She becomes jealous, possessive, constantly afraid that someone else will take what is hers. She believes that love is a competition, that she must always prove she is the best, the most desirable, the most worthy. She wastes energy trying to outshine others, not realizing that real love is never won through comparison. She does not understand that a man who is truly hers will never make her feel like she is in a race. In her career, she hesitates to lift other women up because she fears they might surpass her. She withholds knowledge, keeps opportunities to herself, avoids collaborations because she wants to protect her own success. She believes that if another woman rises, it means there is less space for her. She does not realize that true success is not about competing, it is about creating. She does not see that when women support each other, they all win. This mindset keeps her small. It keeps her trapped in insecurity, in doubt, in a constant need to prove herself. She does not see that the real enemy was never other women. It was the belief that she had to compete in the first place. She does not realize that she was never meant to fight for a seat at the table. She was meant to build her own. She was not born to be in a war with her own kind. She was not meant to spend her life comparing, competing, resenting. She was meant to connect, to empower, to rise alongside other women, knowing that their success is proof of what is possible for her too. The moment she stops seeing other women as competition, she steps into a power she never knew she had. The moment she chooses to support instead of compete, she finally understands what it means to be truly unstoppable. Side 5, she forgets who she is. The biggest tragedy of all is a woman who forgets her own power, a woman who lets the world tell her she is weak when she was born strong, a woman who lets society dictate her limits when she was meant to be limitless. My dear sisters, you were not created to be silent. You were not designed to be weak. You were born with fire in your soul, with dreams in your heart, with wings on your back. How dare you forget that? A woman who does not invest in herself lives in a constant state of waiting. She waits for the right time, the right opportunity, the right person to give her permission to grow. She puts everyone else's needs before her own, believing that self-sacrifice is a virtue. She pours into others, but never into herself. She works tirelessly to support her family, her friends, her partner, but when it comes to her own dreams, she hesitates. She tells herself that she will focus on herself one day, when things settle down, when the children are older, when the circumstances are better. But that one day never comes because she never chooses to make it happen. She forgets that she is the foundation of her own life. When she does not invest in her growth, every part of her existence suffers. Her mind becomes stagnant, filled with the same thoughts, the same fears, the same limitations. She stops learning, stops evolving, stops challenging herself. She moves through life on autopilot, repeating the same patterns, having the same conversations, facing the same struggles. She does not realize that she is stuck not because she is incapable, but because she has stopped nourishing herself with new experiences, new knowledge, new challenges. She spends her days fulfilling obligations, running errands, completing tasks, but at the end of it all, she feels empty. She cannot remember the last time she did something just for herself, something that ignited her soul, something that made her feel truly alive. She cannot remember the last time she sat in silence, listened to her own thoughts, and asked herself what she truly wanted. She has spent so much time being everything for everyone else that she has forgotten who she is outside of those roles. She does not invest in her health because she is always too busy, too tired, too distracted. She ignores the signals her body sends her, the fatigue, the headaches, the stress. She pushes through, believing that rest is a luxury she cannot afford. She neglects her well-being, telling herself that she will take care of herself later, but later never comes. She does not see that the very people she sacrifices for need her to be strong, to be healthy, to be present. She does not realize that she cannot pour from an empty cup. She does not invest in her mind. She does not seek knowledge, does not challenge herself to grow. She settles for what she already knows, afraid to step outside of her comfort zone. She does not read, does not learn new skills, does not push herself beyond what feels familiar. She does not see that the world is moving forward, evolving, and that if she does not grow with it, she will be left behind. She does not understand that every great opportunity, every breakthrough, every success begins with a decision to expand her mind. She does not invest in her dreams. She tells herself that it is too late, that she has too many responsibilities, that chasing her goals is selfish. She watches others achieve their dreams and convinces herself that they had advantages she did not. She does not see that the only difference between those who succeed and those who do not is the willingness to invest in themselves. She does not realize that the dream inside her heart was placed there for a reason, and that by ignoring it, she is betraying herself. She does not invest in her self-worth. She tolerates disrespect, accepts less than she deserves, and allows others to dictate her value. She does not set boundaries because she fears rejection. She does not walk away from toxic situations because she is afraid of being alone. She does not stand up for herself because she has not yet learned to believe in her own worth. She does not realize that the way she allows others to treat her is a direct reflection of how she treats herself. She tells herself that investing in herself is selfish. She believes that spending money on her education, her health, her personal growth is an unnecessary expense. She will buy things for her children, for her family, for her home, but when it comes to herself, she hesitates. She does not see that she is the greatest asset she will ever have. She does not understand that investing in herself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is the foundation upon which everything else in her life is built. She waits for someone to push her, to encourage her, to give her permission to grow. But no one is coming to save her. No one is coming to tell her that she is worthy, that she deserves to invest in herself. She must make that decision for herself. She must choose to prioritize her growth, her health, her dreams, her happiness. She must understand that she is not just a supporting character in other people's lives. She is the main character in her own. The moment she realizes this, everything begins to change.